Hey all, here at osmvtxreviews.com. You're watching part 1 of our video review of the Samsung SGH-T528G. This is a TouchWiz based operating system device, which is a proprietary UI from Samsung for Tracfone as well as Straight Talk services here in the United States. It's a very inexpensive, low-priced feature phone, / it borders on a smartphone functionality because it does have Wi-Fi on board for wireless web browsing, but it doesn't really have any extensive app stores for you to install a lot of different applications, which is more classified for smartphones. This device on here is pretty interesting because, again, for Tracfone and Straight Talk, it doesn't require a contract, and at the same time, it's priced at only around $70, which is very inexpensive and low priced and low budget for a Samsung feature device. Otherwise, the device is a GSM quad-band world phone, and again, it has Bluetooth, it has Wi-Fi, so it's very fully functioned in terms of wireless capabilities. TouchWiz 2.0 for the UI is also installed by Samsung. And again, it's very inexpensive, very cheap as far as the price tag is considered. Otherwise, taking a look at the design, it's a pretty impressively designed device, very modest. It has a 3.0-inch touchscreen, which is unfortunately resistive, which means you have to really use your fingernails to kind of get in there. But it is getting better. Now, resistive screens aren't as bad as they used to be back in the day, where you had to really use a stylus just to use it. But they're kind of getting better and better, but still not as good as capacitive ones. The top of the device features a earpiece. Below that, below the screen itself, we have a Samsung logo, a OK button, or the menu key, that also dubs. And we also have the talk and end keys that also dubs as the send and power buttons. The left-hand side device powers the micro SD card slot, which is located behind a back cover, and it comes with a 2 GB card right out of the box, which is pretty nice. There's also a volume up and down key. This particular phone by Samsung can also be purchased on a host of different locations as a Tracfone prepaid device. It's available practically at any store that sells cell phones, from QFCs to Fred Meyer's to even Office Depots will sell this, so it's a very accessible and widely commercialized phone, to be sure. The top device also features a 3.5mm headphone jack for listening to music. It also has a cover for the micro USB port for charging the device. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to fully charge, and it will last around 2 weeks through standby, so battery life is pretty good on this device as well. On the right-hand side, we have access to a camera button, which allows you to take images with the camera on the back. There's also a hot shortcut key for you to take both images when you're in the camera application and to launch the different voice search commands when you're actually using the phone. The back device features the 2.0 megapixel camera. Now, this is a feature we were quite shocked to find because it's a very low resolution count, coming in at only 2 megapixels, because otherwise the Samsung phone is pretty loaded in terms of having Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the haptic feedback and the TouchWiz UI. So the fact that it has just a 2.0 megapixel camera is something that's a little bit disjointed from the rest of the feature set. Otherwise, below the Samsung logo, we have a loudspeaker, which is pretty easy to use for speakerphone modes, and something that I've come to notice from all Samsung phones is it has a bump in the middle of it to allow the sound to come out a little bit easier, which is something kind of interesting. And we also like the fact that the color scheme for this device is kind of a light pale blue. Otherwise, as far as build quality is considered, it's again a very modest phone. There's nothing really that jaunts out or shouts out from anything too special, but it is pretty lightweight. Again, it is made out of plastic, so it's a little bit flimsy in terms of fit and finish, but nothing too cheap feeling at all. So it's a pretty good generic device as far as the form factor is considered. Pretty narrow and definitely easy to pocket in and out of your jeans pockets or your purses as well. So taking out the back cover, there's also the microphone. You can see there is a 1000 milliamp hour battery behind the back cover. There's also access to aforementioned SIM card slot for you to use, and if you can get this device unlocked, of course, you can also use it with T-Mobile and AT&T here in the States. And there's also the aforementioned SD card slot, which is located behind the slot here as well. You can kind of see that when you remove the back cover. It would sit in here otherwise. So that's basically as far as part 1 of the hardware is considered. We're going to come back in part 2 of this video review and go through the positives and negatives of the UI experience, which again is TouchWiz UI. We've seen quite a lot on a lot of feature phones, and kind of briefly discuss what differentiates a feature phone from a smartphone, and its line is getting increasingly blurred thanks to the fact that this device again is a feature phone as advertised by Tracfone, but again it has Wi-Fi, which is I think something that only a lot of smartphones even don't have, so it's something that's kind of unique on this particular model, especially since it's so inexpensive, and the really only other Tracfone device that has Wi-Fi that isn't classified as an Android smartphone is the LG 840G, so it's something interesting to take a look at and compare to that by LG. So thanks for watching part 1. Keep tuned for part 2 of our video review here at osmvtxreviews.com. This has been the Samsung SGH, SGH-T528G TouchWiz 2.0 base multimedia handset. Thanks for watching here, osmvtxreads.com.